So let's start. Today's topic is computer architecture, and the subtopic is the role of the central processing unit. I believe we have all of us we have heard about it, the CPU, and normally people call it the brain of the computer, right? Why do they call it a brain? Because that is very similar to the human brain, because it senses everything, process process the data, and it reacts, or the human, they take action, right? So talking about the computer CPU, it's a electronic device. CPU, it's an electronic device that takes that takes data from input devices from input devices, process it, and then delivers the output. This is the simplest definition of CPU, right? So if I can make a diagram, the very simple one, that is input device. Input device can be anything, like it can be a keyboard, it can be a mouse, it can be a game console, controller, it can be any input device, right? So there are so many input devices. So through these devices, input devices, the data enters into the computer system, and the CPU process it, and it delivers output on the output device. It can be a LCD, LED, right? It can be a sound system, speaker, etc., right? So this is the simplest concept of the CPU. CPU and microprocessor, they are interchangeable, and processor as well. CPU, if I can show you the picture of CPU and the motherboard that is installed on the motherboard. So just a second. So this is the motherboard. Motherboard means we can have CPU installed over here as a integrated circuit on a single physical microchip on the motherboard, and it there are different component as well, RAM, and this is the fan for the CPU heatsink, and this is different cells, and there are these are the ports, so we are not actually discussing these things. So it's a motherboard where the CPU is installed as an integrated circuit on a physical microchip on the motherboard, right? So this fan is installed just to cool down the CPU because CPU, it performs complex calculations, and sometimes like when you play a heavy game which consumes a lot of power of your computer system, then your CPU ultimately heats up. So that's the fan that's cool down the CPU. So that is the fan, but here is another. I have one more picture of the CPU. How does it look like? So this is the CPU. That is a very small part. This is the CPU, central processing unit, right? That is very delicate, right? So this is CPU and it is installed as an integrated circuit on the physical microchip on your motherboard and your fan. So now that is the role of the central processing unit. It works just like a brain, human brain. It takes the input, it calculates the thing, it processes the data, and it reacts or it take an action. It executes the data, right? So that is very simple. I believe you have now you have clear concept of the CPU. So if there is any question, you can ask me in the comment. So in the next video, inshallah, we'll talk about the computer architecture. How does the things happens in the computer when you type something, like it is considered, it is taken by the computer as an instruction, and how the CPU process the data with its different components, right? Okay, see you.